Our calls are peer-led, and it is a place to really uncover the real raw feelings of what's going on. We connect weekly so we can keep up with a test that they may have undergone that week, something coming up that they're worried about. Caregivers, they're often carrying so much of management for the entire family, so we get to help them and keep up with them and give them a place to, have a cup of coffee and to tell us how they really feel, like the real stuff, not just the "How are you doing? I'm
Mhm.
okay."
Welcome to the Inheritance of Hope podcast. Every day, 562 children lose a parent to terminal illness. They shouldn't have to face that alone. You can pretend to avoid the painful realities of illness, grief, and death, or you can deal with the real stuff in caring community. On the podcast, people in Inheritance of Hope's community share raw, personal stories of pain, trials, and the shadow of death, which are also stories of joy in terminal illness. Find more Inheritance of Hope community at inheritanceofhope.org. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Inheritance of Hope podcast. I'm Ellie, your host, and we are going through another episode on the services that Inheritance of Hope offers. Today we'll be covering our Hope at Home groups, which is one of the most accessible services that we offer, and I have an expert here to walk us through what it all entails. So go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Hope at Home groups.
Thanks, Ellie. My name is Susie DiGiano, and I'm the Hope at Home manager here at Inheritance of Hope. And I have the wonderful pleasure of helping coordinate the groups that serve families on a weekly basis. What's scheduled 1 hour, but people can come and join us however long they can and have available from wherever they are.
One of the biggest questions I think people might have is, who are Hope at Home groups for?
So Hope at Home groups is there to serve the entire family. So we have groups that start for kids from age 7, and then they get broken down for kids 7 to 12, teenagers 13 to 18. We have a young adults group as well now. And then we have groups for caregivers and the parent with the diagnoses, either specific or a general living with illness. The diagnosed specific groups that we are currently offering is the metastatic breast cancer and ALS. Then we have the general living with illness group, which feel free to join with any sort of illness that you may have. And then we actually also have other groups that are available for anybody to come and join us. Just show up. Is a book club that is open to everybody. And then we also have a beautiful Friday gathering where we do some scripture work as well.
Wow. Okay, so the short answer is everybody. Whether you have an illness, whether you're part of a family with a terminal diagnosis, or you just want to be involved, there's a group for you, it sounds like.
Yes, absolutely. We're loving on everybody.
Yes. Okay, and you said the format is they're all online, weekly, and 1 hour in length. Is that correct?
Yes. So we have them scheduled throughout the week for every family member, essentially. And they can just pop in during that scheduled hour. We are here to make it work for them. So if they're at a hospital bed, they can join us from there. We've had some families join us while they're doing their Costco run.
It's very flexible, it sounds like. Join when you can, even if you can't make it for the full hour. What can people expect while they're on the call?
Our calls are peer-led, and it is a place to really uncover the real raw feelings of what's going on. We connect weekly so we can keep up with a test that they may have undergone that week, something coming up that they're worried about. Caregivers, they're often carrying so much of management for the entire family, so we get to help them and keep up with them and give them a place to, have a cup of coffee and to tell us how they really feel, like the real stuff, not just the "How are you doing? I'm doing okay."
So a lot of catching up, just caring for one another. How did that scan go? How was your family vacation you just got back from? Is there content that people can expect to go through, or is there anything more structured and formalized in those groups?
Yes, absolutely. We do also have an actual structure that opens up the conversation on how to navigate different things. Either, for instance, right now we're going through the month of February. It's love month. So we are here to, help them with self-care and open up the conversations to make sure that they're, in the midst of everything going on, that they are taking care of themselves and making sure they're answering to those things as well. So yes, there is talking points that can guide them and ask them good questions and good resources as well, because that's also what we're here to do. We don't want to give you solid advice, but if somebody in the group has experienced something that you have, this is a good place to ask those questions and try those resources as well.
I was, for a time, a facilitator in the metastatic breast cancer Hope at Home group. There was always content prepared that we could go through. There were plenty of weeks where people were just catching up and sharing what progression they had or this family news, and it just a place to unburden themselves and share what's happening. That the content felt, irrelevant some weeks. And then other weeks it was a great talking point where here's a YouTube video that's super short or a podcast clip or a graphic we're going to look at. And then people can all share their experiences and thoughts. So I loved the flexibility. It doesn't always have to look a certain way. It's not like a facilitator is here to teach you something, or it's not just necessarily an hour where you have to show up and chat. It ebbs and flows as the group's needs change, essentially.
Every group is different. So although our talking point right now is self-love and self-care, it's going to also change within the group. So our caregivers might be focusing on a lot of that self-care, but our living with illness group might be going through something else another resource that they might actually be needing right now.
When you say that there's a kids group, some parents might hear that and be like, oh no, is this like 2020 e-learning? My kids aren't going to pay attention. They're stuck on a computer. What does it look like for the kids groups?
We hear that a lot, but no, this is fun. Kids are looking forward to. They're actually making sure that their friends are on the call with them. We don't have a curriculum, but we do have a guide in the background for our facilitators to go through, where we do share a clip of a movie that opens up the conversation for them to truly express themselves. We have games, and we talk about our feelings, but only as much as a child wants to. So it doesn't feel like homework. And they do love coming back.
Each group sounds like it's very developmentally appropriate or appropriate for what is showing up in these people's lives. Like you said, the caregivers are going to be experiencing a very different reality than the person living with the illness. And, a kid's attention span is going to be different than an adult group. And for the Just Show Up book clubs or the other Hope at Home groups, for anybody, if I was a listener and I didn't have that health background, I would almost feel like I'm taking someone else's spot if I show up to this group, or it might not really be for me. So can you touch on that of why should people come to Hope at Home groups if they don't necessarily feel like they should be there?
Well, let me actually share with you something crazy. I came across a statistic the other day that said that when a person is diagnosed with cancer, an illness of concern, they experience ghosting from friends. Their friends aren't leaving them because they don't want to be a part of their lives anymore, but they're leaving because they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do or how to react, to their friends. They're afraid of saying the wrong thing to their friends. So I encourage anybody to join these calls because there will probably be somebody there experiencing their own, terminal illness with joy. We use the word jarro here, so we get to experience all of that. So these Just Show Up calls, they're books. The one that we're going through right now is A Widow's Truth, was written by one of the families that we had the pleasure of serving. She went off to write this book, and now she's serving other families with it. But it would be a great book for anybody to sit in and then listen to really experience what she experienced and how she navigated her way through it, and now is helping other widows, navigate through it. So show up and join because you'll learn something. You'll probably end up standing in the gap from some friend that was ghosted.
We want to be the people running towards the people when they are experiencing a lot of people running the opposite direction, or they don't know what to do. And so I feel like those Hope at Home groups, the Just Show Up book clubs, that is a perfect learning opportunity. I've had friends come up to me after hearing, the work that I do, and they're like, I have this friend who has a cancer or they are struggling in this way. What do I say to them? And I always want to direct people into environments like this because it's not like say this, don't say that. It's complex. Each person is going to receive different words differently. But if you can show up in a context that's safe, it's expectation free, and you can just hear people's stories and kind of sit in that tension is almost a place where it's modeled. How do I engage with this without any expectation for you to come up with answers or to show up in any other way than to just listen?
Yeah, it's the best book club. I mean, first off, you don't have to do anything but show up. We share the book, and you don't have to read it because it's read out loud. So you get to just be in this environment where you get to grow and grow with people that need it as well.
So, as people are listening, maybe they're feeling like this is a space that they want to enter into, that would find a lot of value in meeting with other people who get it. What are the next steps? How do they join a Hope at Home group?
It's super easy. You just have to head over to our webpage, Inheritance of Hope, and then go over to the online groups tab. Register there. You'll likely get a call from one of our amazing volunteers to make sure that you signed up for the correct group. It's super simple.
So when you fill out the registration form, let's say it's you are the diagnosed parent, and then you have a spouse who would maybe want to join the caregiver group, and you have a couple of kids. When you fill out that registration form, what information are you sharing? And is that for the whole family?
Our form is actually really simple. We are only asking for your name and a means to contact you, email and phone number. Everything else is optional for you to fill out. But yes, you can also sign out your spouses at that point. I'll ask you, do you want to sign up an additional family member? And you can sign up your significant other and your children.
And having a phone call afterwards is a great step because knowing that there is going to be a touch point where you can talk to an actual person, answer any questions that might come up, just know that you're not going to slip through the cracks.
So once your registration form is completed, you'll then receive an email with the Zoom link the day of your meeting, and an hour before our gathering. We also send you a Zoom link text message so you can just click on that and you'll be let in and you'll be able to connect from anywhere super quick.
You're receiving several touch points with the link. You don't have to go and try to find it and dig through your inbox or anything. It's readily available, one click away from connection. Is that the same for some of the Just Show Up book club groups as well?
So the Just Show Up book clubs, yeah, you'll have to pick the specific book, but feel free to select all of them, and then you'll still receive that phone call if you have any other questions about what exactly that book is going to cover. You can also sign up for them, and we are starting to share that recording of the book. And that way you can just listen to whatever was discussed during the group if you are unable to attend.
What are some other action steps that people could take that maybe they are really excited about what's happening, where people are receiving community with other people who get it? How can they come alongside and kind of make sure that this continues happening and continues to grow?
So anybody that's listening, if they're part of that, statistic that I gave a little bit ago and running away in that natural response, they can fill in the gap. They can come and help us. And then we have plenty of background work that needs to be done to manage all of these groups. So they don't have to sit in a group specifically and, or have that fear of saying the wrong thing. They can do things in the background, or they can always support us financially because, of course, a $5 donation actually covers an entire family to be able to be served and the kids group, the caregivers group, and diagnosis specific or other groups available for them.
Maybe a college student is listening and they're like, I don't have much money to give, or whatever season of life you're in. When we think of $5 a month, maybe you assume that doesn't go very far, but $5 a month can serve an entire family to get plugged in and receive community in a very isolating season of life. Because like you said, it's a very natural reaction to not know what to do, not know what to say. And so you don't say anything and you kind of remove yourself. So volunteering, giving financially, joining these groups in whatever capacity fits best for your current stage of life, that all is just really, really helpful because we want to continue to serve more families. We don't think anybody should face terminal illness alone, and Hope at Home Groups fills that gap to make sure that that's not happening.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see anybody listening that will join us and continue to serve more people.